Only one man could have made this film, and only one man can bring it to you tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Mr. Christopher Nolan!
Christopher Nolan is an American and British filmmaker known for his Hollywood blockbusters with complex storytelling, such as Interstellar, Inception, The Dark Knight Trilogy, Dunkirk, Tenet, and most recently, Oppenheimer. He started making films when he was 7, using his dad's Super 8 camera, and since then has always continued on his filmmaking journey. He is considered a leading filmmaker of the 21st century, but what is it exactly about him that made him a brilliant filmmaker? There are many numerous reasons as to why he is very highly regarded in the industry. From how he cleverly uses camera movement to elevate the scenes so that we feel more connected to the character, and how he tells his story to the audience, which leaves them with a strong impression of the movie. Christopher Nolan's films are truly remarkable, leaving audiences in awe. Today, we're diving into the secrets of his cinematic genius. With a great mind like Christopher Nolan, people do wonder what are the creative thoughts behind his movies. What is it exactly that makes a good movie good, and how does he develop ideas into movies?
Try to take my director's hat off when I'm writing and write things that I then come to as a director and I say, I have no idea how to do this. I have no idea what this will look like, how to visualize it. Because that's when you know you're challenging yourself, and it's through that challenge you find something that you haven't done before. You find something fresh and different, and that's really the fun part of filmmaking, that.
Known to have quite an obsession with time, Nolan loves playing with this. This has been a recurring theme throughout all his movies. His use of non-linear storytelling techniques adds layers to the movies.
It's basically the end of the movie. This is the black and white stuff. This is color. This is running backwards as a series of jumps. We cut between the two the whole way through. So we alternate scene here, scene there, scene there, scene there, scene there, scene there, and they meet towards the end of the film.
Though his storytelling technique may make some viewers confused as to what's happening in the movie, some appreciate this and love this mind-stimulating technique that Nolan uses.
Did it ever feel like this is going to be complicated for the audience?
It's like, fuck it, you know? I mean, I try to be the audience as I'm writing the script. And in that way, my hope is that there are enough signifiers, there are enough familiarities to the rhythm of the piece I'm putting together that the audience can feel oriented. So even if they're confused by certain aspects, the feeling of the rhythm, you know, in an almost musical way, is involving and sort of correct.
Don't try to understand it. Feel it.
Another thing that made him stand out from other directors is how he used a CGI to enhance, not to create visual effects.
There are no CGI shots in the movie.
I find CGI, however versatile it is, but it always tends to feel a little safe to me. I think if you want something to have a bit of bite, if you want the imagery to have a bit of threat, even if it's a miniature, even if it's something very fake, but something real on camera, I think it gives you a better result.
There are many mind-blowing scenes in his movies that people think are made by CGI, while it's actually practical effect. Not surprisingly, Nolan also prefers to work with films instead of digital video.
I shoot on film because it's the highest quality imaging format ever devised. Film shows you the world kind of the way your eye sees it.
Christopher Nolan's films are linked. By a thematic exploration of time, identity, and reality, his narratives, characterized by intricate plots and visual spectacle, delve into the complexities of the human psyche.
I guess I try to leave each film with interesting questions that maybe in some unrelated form or possibly a related form I to pick up with the next film, those kind of connections between my films.
Algebra's like sheet music. The important thing isn't can you read music, it's can you hear it. Can you hear the music, Robert?
Yes, I can.
His most recent movie is Oppenheimer, which presents the true story of J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb. Throughout the film, he gets visions of the atomic world, of the possibilities of physics and the power it could wield. But after he made the bomb, his mindset changed. He's no longer fascinated by the power of physics, but horrified by it.
I feel that I have blood on my hands.
This story was based on the book American Prometheus by Kai Bird and Martin J. Sherwin in 2005.
Oppenheimer has 13 nominations and has won 7 Oscars tonight.
Nolan's gripping epic won 7 Academy Awards, 5 Golden Globe Awards, 7 British Academy Film Awards, and many other accolades. So what gave Nolan this idea of making a film about a seemingly dry history?
Oppenheimer, somebody I'd been interested in a long time, didn't know that much about the specifics of his story. Then came to the book American Prometheus, and that absolutely got me hooked.
Oppenheimer's story is rich with moral dilemmas and ethical complexities. He took the approach of writing the script in first person, which makes the movie even more interesting.
Never really encountered a story about somebody whose life and whose experience was so fraught with paradox. Particularly the core issue about the need to build a bomb, the dangers of building the bomb. And I think it presented me with a unique opportunity to try and get into the head of a person who had to deal with the biggest questions of our time, as human beings on the planet. And I found as I was trying to get into Oppenheimer's head and I was trying to communicate that to the reader,
Oppenheimer uses its 3-hour runtime to tell a relentless, fast-paced story that's simultaneously intimate and character-driven and monumental in scale. It's packed with information, characters, plot points, and themes. It doesn't seem muddled.
Excuse me, gentlemen, if I become stirred, but I am.
It's precise.
Bomb.
It's coherent.
You are an American Prometheus.
Despite jumping around multiple different timelines, we never lose track of where we are or what we're talking about. The editing process is fascinating, but there are changes that no one expects in the editing room.
for me, shooting on celluloid film, mixing color and black and white, which is something I'd done as far back as my film Memento, and I wanted to revisit that technique because I think it's a great way of making the audience feel differently about a scene, but not necessarily think about it too much.
Nolan has always been fascinated by time. In Tenet, they go back. In Interstellar, they go forward. And in Dunkirk, they kind of switch between timelines. But in Memento, that is most similar to Oppenheimer. We are presented with two timelines. One starts at the end and goes backwards, and one starts at the beginning and goes forward. One is black and white, and one is color. Oppenheimer essentially has the same structure. We also have two timelines from two different perspectives.
Color sequences where we're trying to see everything from his point of view, be in his head, see through his eyes. And then the black and white sequences, which are much more Robert Downey Jr.'s point of view. Louis Strauss is the character he's playing. And trying to balance the subjective with the objective and give sufficient momentum to those two timelines that there's a feeling of confluence at the end.
Many people associate today's artificial intelligence technology revolution with Oppenheimer's atomic revolution. Nolan also has perspectives on this.
I talk to a lot of AI researchers these days, and right now they see this moment in time as their Oppenheimer moment. They refer to it as that because they're looking to his story to say, okay, we're about to unleash this very powerful technology on the world, and what about the unintended consequences? What do we do about that? But what I find encouraging about the uses of AI in the artistic realm is, I think they're going to be powerful tools, but ultimately, there's no replacing human creativity. And these models and the way in which they process information, they're all based on human creativity from the past.
Nolan considers himself as a person who gets bored easily. After the massive success on Oppenheimer, Nolan already starts thinking about the next project.
I get bored very quickly. I like to keep working, so it's exciting to think about what's next.
So here are some fun facts about Christopher Nolan. He is colorblind with the color red and green, so this also affects his choice of color in his movies. Many of his films use blue and yellow color palette. Nolan is also an old school person. He prints his script, but not in the usual white and black. He prints it out in red and black. Why? Because he wants to prevent people from photocopying it.
He's always had a tradition of printing on red paper with black ink.
So this can't be Xeroxed in the old phrase?
That's
because it's red?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
You print your scripts in red and black ink so they can't be photocopied?
Yes, and to remind people not to photocopy them or share them.
In this age of technological development, smartphones are indispensable for almost everyone. Email is the people's main method of sending mail, but Nolan has a completely different approach. He doesn't use smartphones or have any email accounts.
I don't have an email address, I never use email, and I don't have a smartphone. I will carry a pay-as-you-go, like, dumb phone thing.
Christopher Nolan, a master of cinematic storytelling, a visionary who bends time and reality to craft unforgettable journeys. In the world of Nolan, storytelling knows no bounds, inviting us to embark on unforgettable cinematic adventures that lingers long after the credits roll.
You gonna respect this. Check it.
Today, we're diving into the secrets of his cinematic genius.
I like that. 3, go.
Christopher Nolan.
Wait. 3.
Oh, you didn't say go. Christopher Nolan is an American and British filmmaker known for his Hollywood blockbusters with complex storytelling. He started making films when he was 7. First, let me take a selfie. Oh no, it's recording.
Like, what is a biting lift?
his narratives, character. We never lose track of where we are or what we're talking about. The editing process. Email isn't people's main method of using. Oh, what the fuck? Christopher Nolan, a master of cinema.